It's March. How's your reading going? Better than mine, I sincerely hope. I am so behind. And no, I am not behind compared to other people. I don't look at what other people are doing. I am behind compared to myself, how I normally do. When I decided that I wanted to start reading more intentionally and to share that journey with others on BookTube, I gave myself the goal of 4 books a month. And if I were still just on my old book blog, 4 books a month would have been completely manageable. In fact, it would have been more than manageable, and I would have been lowballing myself. But BookTube is a whole other animal. This is pretty hard, pretty time-consuming, and then if you add my completely self-imposed rule of not starting my next book until I have finished the review for the previous book, well, there you go. This slowness is entirely my own fault. But the first month of the year was kind of a win. I did read 4 books and I met my own personal challenges. And those were that each month I would like to read a project book, so a book from the rule of 3+1. I'd also like to read one of my reading challenge books for 2026, which is either going to be a Year of the Horse book or a Cloud Dancer book. And because the Year of the Horse hadn't started yet, it was a Cloud Dancer book for January. I also really want to rescue a book from my TBR pile each month and to reread a book each month. And I was able to do all 4. So the first was the TBR Rescue, which was Silas Marner by George Eliot, which had been in my TBR pile for longer than I would like to admit. I did a 5 peer review on it and also a video essay in which I called it the anti-detective story. And to my surprise, that's actually the video that's doing the best numbers. So if you like detective stories and or Victorian fiction and or George Eliot specifically, I think you might find it interesting. The second book I read for the first month was Journey to the Center of the Earth by Jules Verne, which was part of the Rule of 3+1 project, which I'm doing for speculative fiction. I'll be doing it for other things later on, but I'm starting the year off with speculative fiction. So the 3 in the Rule of 3 are Jules Verne, H.G. Wells, and Michael Crichton. I have not decided who the +1 wildcard author is going to be yet, but I still have some time, or so I tell myself optimistically, right after saying that I'm so behind. This has a review, but it does not have a video essay, and the reason it doesn't is that the books I'm reading for the Rule of 3+1 are not really for reading in isolation. They're meant to be read together and to all be like spotlights lighting up a single theme. I might have a video essay after I read the next book in this project, or I might wait until I've done all 4. But if you're interested in my thoughts on this and what rating I gave it, please check out the 5 peer review. There's already a playlist. The third book I read for the first month is The Unbearable Lightness of Being by Milan Kundera. This was for the Cloud Dancer books because, as you can see, it is a Cloud Dancer or white cover. And the Cloud Dancer Challenge, in which I read books just because the cover is white, is meant to pull me out of my comfort zone and get me reading things that I otherwise would not normally read. And this was a really good start. I don't normally gravitate to postmodern fiction. I'm glad I gave this a chance. I have a 5 peer review on this as well, and a video essay in which I talk about musical forms in storytelling. or how we can tell the stories of our lives using a kind of musical sensibility, organizing our storytelling the way a composer would organize a piece of music. And the fourth book I read for my first month was The City of Ember by Jeanne DuPrau. This was the reread, and I chose it because I was feeling really drawn to it after reading Journey to the Center of the Earth. What they both have in common is a subterranean setting, even though the one in Jules Verne is uninhabited or seemingly uninhabited, and this one has an entire civilization. So they're pretty different, and well, now I'm going to contradict myself because I felt drawn to it after reading Journey to the Center of the Earth, but because of the differences between them, I also felt it might not be such a great pick. But I ultimately could not think of another book to reread from my collection, so I went with this, and I'm really glad I did. There is also a 5P review on this, as well as a video essay on what it has in common with, believe it or not, the biblical cities of Sodom and Gomorrah, what they have in common, but also how they are significantly different. So if I intrigued you with that, I hope you check out the video essay. I also have a playlist just for the video essays. As you can see, month 1, which spanned January 11 to February 11, started pretty strong, and I had every reason to believe that the second month would be just as good. So what slowed me down? I'm self-aware enough to take accountability. I know I slowed myself down, but the time marker in this reading journey when I felt myself losing momentum was Black Beauty by Anna Sewell. And this was the first of the Year of the Horse books. And the point of the challenge is to read books in which horses are either characters in their own right or play a significant part in the story. And why not start strong with Black Beauty? And what happened was that I could not think of a topic for the video essay. I don't know why I really wanted to have a video essay. I could have filmed a review and be done with it. In fact, that's what I did earlier this evening. I decided, okay, the video essay is not going to happen. You can't think of a topic. No theme is jumping out at you. There isn't a single interesting angle. Just film the review, move on to your next book, live your life. And then in the middle of the review, guess what? The angle came to me. And now I really, really want to do that video essay. No, I can't make it part of the review. You know why? Because as soon as I saw that angle, that new way to look at Black Beauty, all my ratings changed. So I'm going to have to redo the review as well. And yes, I know, it's all my own fault. Like, no one's making me do this. This is a hobby. This is something I'm doing for fun. And yes, I know I'm yelling, but I'm still feeling the spirit of fun. If you read Black Beauty as a child, if you like animals in stories or like animals in general in real life, I hope you come back for the video essay. I will try to get it up as soon as I can. So I've shown you the books I read last, the book I'm technically still working on now. What about the books that are going to come next? So the next book I wanted to read was another TBR rescue. It's The Trumpet of the Swan by E.B. White. And I chose it because Black Beauty put me in the mood for another book with a talking animal. This one is not as realistic. It's pretty fanciful. Believe it or not, I've never read it. I'm glad that I will finally read it very soon. as soon as I film my 2 videos for Black Beauty. After that, I want to continue the Rule of 3 plus 1 challenge or project. And if you're paying attention, you know that H.G. Wells is next. And the book I'm going to read after The Trumpet of the Swan is going to be The Time Machine. So I hope you see the logic of it, which is that we took a geographical journey in Journey to the Center of the Earth, and there's going to be a journey through time in The Time Machine. And this is doing double duty for month 2 because it's also my reread. For the Cloud Dancer Challenge, I actually just found the next book today. It is Complicity by Iain Banks, which is absolutely not at all the kind of book I would normally read. It's a thriller in which a reporter becomes implicated in some crimes that the police are investigating. And at first he seems to be innocent, but it turns out he may be complicit. And I don't really gravitate to thrillers. I'm not a fan of the gritty style of Iain Banks that I read a bit of when I was browsing, and I really almost did not buy this until I reminded myself that the challenge was to bust out of my comfort zone. And who knows, I may like this in the end. I read some reviews to help me make my decision, and the review which tipped the scales said that you think it's just a thriller in which someone gets falsely accused and has to clear his name, but it actually asks some really big philosophical questions towards the end. And I like really big philosophical questions. So, okay, I'm giving this a chance. Finally, I will be reading another horse book for the second month as well. And I can't think of a better follow-up to Black Beauty than War Horse by Michael Morpurgo, because the one thing that Black Beauty does not do is go to war. There is a war horse that Black Beauty meets who describes a campaign in the Crimea, but Beauty himself, stays back home in England where it's nice and safe. So I think of War Horse as kind of a companion novel, or what I like to call a serendipitous sequel, when the book you read next seems to carry on the story of the book you read before. Well, clearly it won't be. I think the war here is World War I, so it's a completely different campaign or engagement. But the idea is the same, and who knows, I might end up with another video essay in which I discuss not just War Horse, but also the war horse whom Black Beauty meets in his own book. I hope you enjoyed watching this, and I hope I didn't whine too much. I am actually really happy to be here and really happy to have started this new BookTube hobby. It's an example of the saying, remember when you used to pray for what you have now. And I did pray for the courage to start this channel and to reach out to other readers through video. And I'm glad I was able to get started. I hope that this slow period won't last for much longer, because there are so many fun books to read, so many new ways to look at them, and so many new friends among fellow readers to meet and to have discussions with. So if you leave me a comment, I will be really happy to also visit your channel, watch one of your videos, and return the comment. And I hope we have fun reading together and that we become friends.